how quickly can this come together where it's at least decent? At least in August, we're not mathematically eliminated already, or something like that.
The Royals lost 106 games last year. I mean, that's going to be the canonical example for a while now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying a 1 year turnaround is possible. The Royals got very lucky in a number of ways this year. They also weren't a 56 win team last year. They were more like a 70 win team last year. But the time to turn it around, because the barrier for making the playoffs is much lower. It's lower than it's been in any time in baseball history. Right. You can turn things around in a 2 to 3 year period. I no longer think that any team in baseball is more than 3 years away from its next playoff spot. Not that it's going to happen, but if you're standing here today, you're Chris Getz, you've just lost all these games, I think you can reasonably say 15 games, 10 games, 10 games over a 3 year period. I know mathematically that only gets them to 76, but again, this was really a 48 win case.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a special case. Like, they're going to win 60 games next year just accidentally.
Right.
Just the math says they're going to win 60 next year. But I think that's where you've got to start. You mentioned Fetty, and that's the. You make one pull like that a year where you get $30 million worth of performance. And I'm projecting he was traded mid-season. Right. That's fine. But you get that kind of performance from a $7 million investment. You've earned your keep as a GM. So we'll see if he can go back to the well and do that again. They've been explicit about the fact that, they're not going to be competing at the high or maybe even the middle end next year. But that's fine. Mm-hmm. But don't spend your money on Gio Urshela, who's a 33-year-old, whatever he is now, third baseman, who's not going to really, there's no upside there. Right. Spend $900,000 on guys who missed this season, or guys who, have some kind of upside skill set that can help you. So, I think they'll be, like I said, they'll be better next year because they accidentally have to be, but it's going to be about, does Schultz get established? Does Montgomery get established? Can the Lewis Robert, can you even trade him this winter?
I wouldn't just because he was so bad this year. Right. He's got a favorable contract. There's 3 more years of control, 2 option years kind of at the back end, $20 million apiece. I mean, the defense probably can carry it as long as he's not this horrible hitting wise. I wouldn't. I'd hold him even if the plan is to trade him just to build the value back up.
That's exactly it. And you don't want to trade him now and only get X for him when you can hold him for 3 months and get 2X. The contract's still going to have a ton of value. And we've seen the upside of this player. He's a top 15 player in the AL when he's at his best. So, yeah, I don't think this is going to be a winter of very big moves. Trading, can you get anybody to take Andrew Benintendi? Probably not. I mean, that's how bad he's been. There's not, much in the way of, I think they hold on to Crochet.
Okay.
That's a tough call because there's an element of, anytime you have a healthy pitcher and you're not going to be challenging for playoff spots the next 2 years. So Crochet's next 360 innings don't help you.
Right.
So there's an argument for cashing him in now. I mean, that was similar to the argument for trading Fetty, and see this a lot when you've got a really good pitcher
before the season too. Yeah, like they traded Dylan Cease, knowing kind of that we're heading into this situation.
And that trade value can evaporate on one pitch. So Crochet's the one guy where, because he did show the number 1 starter upside, where maybe you go to Nashville or San Diego or Tehran or wherever the winter meetings are this year, and you say, hey, look, we're just going to say, hey, he's available. Let's get the max we can from, because he's the one guy, in addition to a returning Robert, who might return you somebody who's a top 5 prospect in your organization. But I do think that's going to come down to your pro scouting, and I don't have a read for how good the pro scouting is in this organization right now. This is something the Rays do really well, the Dodgers, the Guardians, where they look at other teams' organizations and they say, we can go get that guy, we can go get that guy. I think that's something the Sox are going to have to build up.